know if anybody's wondering if she's going to speak. Deloras? Come on up just to get things going. And then we're going to, after Deloras speaks, then we're going to get the Haisla, our brothers and sisters from the Haisla to come up to begin with. So Deloras is going to speak to us for 1.5 minutes.
Does anybody have some steps?
No, she's still pretty nimble. She's nimble for 25 years old.
Thank you. Amos, Musnuji, Gyuklu, Angwa. My name is Kiamaat. My English name is Deloras Pollard, and I'm the elected Chief Councillor for the Haisla Nation. On behalf of the Haisla Nation, I'd like to welcome all you wonderful people to a very important event that could have life-changing, very huge life-changing happen, not only to the First Nations people and our territories, but to everybody that's here and our livelihoods. Regardless of what your belief is, it's important that you're here to listen to both sides of the issue. I mentioned in my presentation this morning that as First Nations people, we're not allowed to say no. If we publicly come out and say no to the Enbridge project, then it's viewed as us vetoing the project without consulting with the proponent, when really we should be consulting. We should be consulting. We have to share responsibility to uphold their role in talking with First Nations people about our constitution protecting Aboriginal rights and title. Unless you've experienced life with First Nations people and understand our intimate ties to the land, it's really hard to understand, but it's so good to see so many of you here that understand what the land means. You don't have to be First Nations to live off the land, because ultimately all of us do. Whether you're a farmer, you raise animals, you just have beautiful property out in the country, you'll know what it means to have your lands impacted. So I thank you all for being here, and I acknowledge the Celtic people who were first on the agenda this morning, but traditionally they knew it was wrong to speak before the traditional territory holders speak. And I mentioned in there that we are connected through our big houses, our long houses. What I failed to see was we're connected through the water, and we're connected through the land, because our trading system, our barter system, which we're not allowed to venture outside of, but the Celtic have been successful in their commercial fisheries. But we have a strong connection. And if we are not allowed, and if we can no longer hunt and fish, should there be an oil spill, it means more than a loss of teaching our children what our connection and responsibility is to the land. It interferes with that barter system that we have with First Nations people up and down the coast. So the Celtic, I thank you so much for being here in your regalia. I thank you for acknowledging traditions and cultures. And I thank you very much for standing up with your drums. And I know there's so much more we can say, and I think my minute and a half is up, but I welcome all of you here with your signs and your ability to speak for First Nations people and yourselves, for the world, for our children, for our animals, for the fish and the wildlife that we all depend on. Tell me who in the audience does not like salmon, halibut, crabs, It's a commodity that can't be compared to anything else. And if we don't have that ability to hunt and fish as a whole, I thank you all for being here, and I'll hand it back to Gerald. Thank you.
Thank you, Deloras.
Please don't take pictures if I fall off here.
Thank you, Deloras. First of all, I want to thank Enbridge for bringing us all together. I believe this rally has been organized to show and illustrate to the regulators, to the company, and to all who might push this project on us, to show them how passionate the people in the Northwest are, to show that although the process at the end of the day might not allow us to say no, that we are resilient. As Frank Brown pointed out, we've been here, in our case, for 10,000 years plus. In your case, maybe for 50, 60 years, I don't know how long. But that passion I find in the science. And there's nothing better, there's no way better, in my view, to raise the blood pressure in a good way amongst people than to hear drums. So I'm going to invite the Haisla and their chiefs and their drums to come out and join us and give a proper opening to this event. Wah!